2022 might be the best year for television ever. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm giving you my top 10 favorite TV shows of 2022. A year that I almost watched more TV shows than movies. I watched so many series through all the streaming services, and I was late to the game on a few of these series and binge caught up on them, and I just enjoyed the hell out of so many shows this year. So this was tough. I have a few honorable mentions and then 10 through 1. Be sure to hit that like button. Again, comment down below your ranking of your favorite shows of the year, and be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified for future end of the year videos, such as my top 10 favorite movies coming very soon. And again, these are just my favorites, so let me know your favorites down below. So a few honorable mentions: Pam and Tommy, the miniseries on Hulu with Sebastian Stan and Lily James. Just a super well acted show. You guys should check it out. It's also very interesting how all that went down. And then Peacemaker Season 1, which I really wanted to put on this list, but it just missed the cut. One of the better DC projects of the year and just a great superhero show. But coming in at number 10 for me is Wednesday, the smash hit on Netflix that I think last I checked is like the second most viewed show based on view hours in the English language on Netflix ever. I know that was a mouthful, but you get the point. Kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't expect to even watch it, but my girlfriend was like, let's watch Wednesday, and then we got hooked immediately, binged the whole thing. I'm usually not a big Tim Burton fan, but I just was so immersed in this world. That's the one thing I have to give the show credit for, is that it creates its own world so well. It's got a bunch of lore and world building. There's a lot of mythology to a bunch of these characters and Nevermore Academy, and I was just like fully in on this world and the characters. I mean, Wednesday is lovable, she's quirky, and Jenna Ortega crushes it in that role. I just enjoyed it. It was a mystery from beginning to end. I'm big on like murder mystery, and this show was that for like 7 episodes. I didn't adore the way the show wrapped up, but the journey along the way, I'm sold. And I can't wait for season 2 whenever that does end up coming out. But number 9 for me is actually Barry season 3. One of, if not the most underrated shows on TV right now. I always talk about it on live streams when people ask, what's an underrated show? I always say Barry because, man, this is a show that people are missing out on. My quick pitch for you guys who haven't seen Barry: Bill Hader plays a hitman who goes on a hit in LA, and he ends up at this theater class, and he's like, oh my gosh, I think I might want to be an actor. So now he's a hitman who wants to be an actor, and he gets entangled in this mad plot with the Bolivians, and it's just dark comedy at its best, but also there's a lot of really intense moments. Bill Hader shows us a side that we've never seen in like these comedy movies. He's seriously one of the best dramatic actors on television right now. He is incredible in this role, and in season 3 we see him go off the rails. I mean, there are moments where I was like, oh my gosh, this man's about to make me tear up. This is incredible acting right here. This is the craziest Barry has been. I know season 4 is supposed to come out in 2023, and I think that might need to be the last one because I just don't know how long this show can sustain that tension and just level of greatness that it's at right now. Number 8 on my list is House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel series that I was very skeptical about because I didn't love the way Game of Thrones ended. And the show had the really tough task of drawing everyone back into the Game of Thrones world after the controversy that was season 8, and it did so wonderfully. I really just enjoyed this on a week-to-week basis. Sometimes I would miss a week and I would have 2 episodes to watch in a week. My biggest issue at the time was that every episode seemed to have these massive time jumps in between, so it never really had its chance to settle. But looking back on season 1 as a whole, it really let us understand the new characters in the Targaryen dynasty as it is. And I think moving into seasons 2, 3, and I believe 4, because they might have 4 or 5 seasons planned, there won't be as many time jumps. This was very much a season that had to establish the current time period of the Game of Thrones universe that we as the audience are witnessing. It feels like the early days of Game of Thrones with the politics and the backstabbing, the staples of Game of Thrones essentially. And while it lacks on these epic battles that, the later seasons of Game of Thrones would have, it's slowly building to that, and there's going to be some wonderful payoff when the time does come. Number 7 on my list is Ozark season 4, which was split into 2 parts. Part 1 came out in January, part 2 came out in April or May, I want to say. And I really loved the way that this wrapped up Ozark. That's a show that I actually started during the pandemic back in like March of 2020, and I binged all of Ozark because season 3 was coming out, and I was waiting for this final season, the Breaking Bad season, where they split it into 2 parts. And to me, this worked. Part 1 ended on a massive cliffhanger, really jaw-dropping moment, and then it was a little slower as we got into season 4, part 2, but the ending came full circle in my opinion, and a lot of people didn't like this one. One of those endings that people are like, you either love or hate. I really had to think on it when I first saw it, but I ended up loving the ending. I think it's fitting for the characters. No spoilers, of course, but this season of Ozark just had some of the better writing, and I think everyone's arc came full circle. Even though it might not be, that satisfying audience, crowd-pleasing ending, it still made sense in the world of Ozark. Number 6 on my list is The Boys season 3, a season that I dug the hell out of. This was like the summertime jam every week. I mean, we all know by now, we've seen all the memes of Soldier Boy and Homelander. It's kind of taken over the internet, but truly, movie, the show continues to build and build and get bigger and better every season, I would argue. And at first I was like, I don't know, I might prefer season 1 or season 2, but I think right now I give the edge to season 3 because the introduction of Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy adds a whole new dynamic to the show. The finale of the season was incredible, epic, and there were just standoff moments where I was literally like, felt like I was watching gladiators go at it. The one thing I'm worried about with The Boys is that it might end up overextending its stay, going too long. I think it needs to go out on top. Season 4 I think should be the last season, but season 5 definitely needs to end it because I don't want it to become repetitive where it's like, oh, Homelander, we're gonna devise this plan to kill him, and then he gets away. And it's like, they've done that a few times now, and it's just a little worrisome for me. But I just love so many characters in this. Homelander is one of the best TV villains right now, and I believe Jeffrey Dean Morgan is coming in season 4, so sign me the hell up for that. The Boys season 3 was without question one of the most disturbing seasons of TV ever. There are things that I never need to see again that happen in the season. It was offensively crude, but was the best season I think for characters and just overall progression of the story. Alright, so taking us into my top 5 is The Bear, a show that I actually watched like majority of on a plane out to visit my friend. I was like, should I watch this show? And I gave it a shot. Immediately hooked. Jeremy Allen White plays the lead character, who's this prestigious chef who ends up having to come back and run his family restaurant, kind of like this hole-in-the-wall type place that's kind of run down. It's 8 episodes, it's a quick hitter. I mean, this is one of the best written and acted shows of the year. It takes you into a kitchen and the chaotic stress of that so well. I used to work in fast food in high school. Heard is something we would always have to repeat every time someone yelled out for like, oh, I need 10 wings. You'd be like, heard. Yes, chef. The chaos of that, especially during a rush hour when you're trying to like get the drive-through window time down, it's a real thing. I mean, you're sweating your ass off, running around, you get frantic in your chest and your head, and it's like, they did such a great job of capturing that, and that's why I can appreciate the show so much. The overarching theme of the show is grieving and how we all handle it differently. There's moments that are just tragic and break your heart, moments that will want to give you a heart attack, but at the same time, it will pull on your heartstrings, and damn near made me tear up at the end because of how sweet it all came together. Alright, so coming in at number 4 for me is Cobra Kai Season 5, which I absolutely love. If you guys have been watching my Cobra Kai episode reactions, I started the show for the first time back in August, and I watched through Cobra Kai over the last few months, and I filmed my reaction to every single episode. So check out my journey to Cobra Kai, linked up above. But this show is just such a blast. I have nothing bad to say about it. After the first season, I was immediately hooked. It's made me appreciate the Karate Kid trilogy so much more, and by the time Season 5 rolls around, everything's bigger and better. The drama's the most it's ever been, but the reason I love Season 5 of Cobra Kai is the characters have come so far, and this is a season that's all about their development, their chemistry growing, and honestly, their arcs coming full circle. To me, Cobra Kai Season 5 could have ended Cobra Kai. I'm a little concerned about where they're going in Season 6, but we saw so many payoffs in relationships in Season 5, and everyone seems to be pretty happy at the end. There were amazing callbacks that just had me, fist pumping. And while things seem to be going to a global level, it always maintains the simple relationships between characters. Is it cheesy as hell? Absolutely, but I dig it. It's self-aware of that, and the drama here, again, is at another level. Couldn't get enough of Cobra Kai Season 5. It's my personal favorite season, probably, of the show, and I am so excited for Season 6 whenever that does come out. Number 3 on my list is Andor, the best Star Wars show of the year, and one of the better Star Wars projects in recent years by a long shot. The reason I love this show so much is because it is a street-level Star Wars story. It is not reliant on other characters or filling in the gap between, a movie and another movie in the Skywalker saga. It's its own story, and it's giving us more of a look at the formation of the rebellion. The Empire is arguably the evilest we see it here. Over 12 episodes, we see Cassian Andor witness more atrocities and horrors committed by the Empire, and he becomes more open to the idea of possibly leading a rebellion as we get closer to Rogue One. He obviously becomes pivotal in the mission to steal the plans for the Death Star. The reason this show is so successful, in my opinion, and a big hit is because it is told in a similar format to the Clone Wars series, where there are like 3 or 4 episode arcs, and there's always a payoff at the end. The prison break was by far my favorite arc and my favorite episode. Andy Serkis delivering one of his best performances in his damn career. I was watching that episode on a plane. I felt chills down my spine and like tears swelling my eyes because of how impactful and moving it was, and I literally wanted to just get up and scream like, ah! The heist episode was riveting. I mean, these are Star Wars sequences that are not only memorable and some of the best in the past decade, but things that should be witnessed on the big screen because of how damn impressive they are. It's cinematic level Star Wars. The performances across the board are incredible, but it is riveting. Like by the finale, when there's just like riots going on in the streets, you fully are on board. You see why the Empire is so hated and evil, and it's really making them better villains as we get to the, original trilogy. This show is made with care, and it doesn't just feel like a cheap little cash grab like a lot of these Disney Plus shows. Everything that happens in the show is super meaningful, and it is some of the best Star Wars content in years. My runner-up is Better Call Saul Season 6, another show that I was late to the game on and sort of binged over the course of like August to September. It tied a bow perfectly on the entire Breaking Bad universe, and it's rare that series finale episodes can truly stick the landing, and this might actually be one of the best ever. With all the callbacks it has and just character arcs coming full circle, it's so good. Bob Odenkirk as Saul Goodman, it doesn't get better than that. That's his career-defining performance without question. And the way that the back half of the season, we got to see the whole Gene storyline play out with him post-Breaking Bad, I loved that because it always teased that throughout all of Better Call Saul, but the fact that we got to see him post-Breaking Bad and like see where he ended up, it was perfect. We got the prequel payoff with the whole Lalo storyline wrapping up and everything, but then we got to see post-Breaking Bad and just the way that they constantly were able to juggle both of those and give us satisfying conclusions to both. I mean, it's just hats off to Vince Gilligan for creating one of the best universes on television ever. But taking my top spot for my favorite show of 2022 should come as no surprise to any of you. It's Stranger Things Season 4. Nothing else that came out this year in movies or TV, video games, anything has moved me as much as this. I literally felt like I was having an out-of-body experience multiple times while watching Stranger Things 4, and after 3 years of waiting from Season 3 to Season 4, the payoff was wonderful. This is my favorite season of Stranger Things. I don't know if it's the most rewatchable season because some of these episodes are feature-length films pretty much, but it is the best season in my opinion. We got a lot more insight into the Upside Down. Vecna was introduced and has been like the mastermind behind all of this pulling the strings. It's only going to get better in Season 5, but this was the beginning of the end. It set us up for the final epic season of Stranger Things. We were introduced to Eddie Munson and he was taken from us too soon, but just the love that so many people had for this character, including me. I mean, he's a fantastic character. It was tragic what the Duffer Brothers ended up doing there. You know, we had all of our character groups spread out, you know, Hopper in Russia, the California crew, the Creel House storyline. All of them worked in their own right. And it honestly allowed for like different shows within a show. Like that road trip California storyline, a prison break in Hopper in Russia, and then like a straight up mystery in the Creel House. They all just function so well together. This is also my comfort show. This is one of the few shows ever where I deeply love like almost 10 plus characters, and I just feel so invested in the world. Like I actually know these people. Feel like when I watch it, I'm in Hawkins right there with everybody. And that's why I'm just so invested in every little thing that happens in this show. You know, the running up that hill moment in the Dear Billy episode is, I can't even describe to you the way I felt when I first watched it. It was an out-of-body experience. When the Running Up That Hill remix plays and Hopper picks up the sword and everyone goes to town in the piggyback, the season finale. I mean, these are moments that I will remember forever the first time I watched them, and truly this is the one show that has a long-lasting impact on me, but also sort of shaped who I am. Back to Season 1, my love for Stranger Things. So I love this show and I always will. Cannot wait for Season 5, even though it's going to be a long wait probably, but Stranger Things 4 was my favorite piece of television, film, anything for the entirety of 2022. But those are just my top 10 personal favorite TV shows of the year. Let me know yours in the comments down below, and be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified for my future end of the year videos and reactions, all that good stuff. Thank you guys again for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.